Yes, sure. That would be that I think that extraterrestrials are real and they're here to help us.
Your belief is that terrestrials are here and wish to help us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And by terrestrials, say it again. I don't know why I can't.
Extraterrestrials.
Extraterrestrials. What do we mean by extraterrestrials?
So beings from outside the Earth.
Beings.
Yes.
Okay. Aliens.
Aliens, sure.
On a scale from 1 to 7, let's say, how confident are you that this belief is true?
7.
And on a scale from 1 to 7, how important is it for you to believe in true things?
How important is it for me to believe in true things?
In things that are true and real.
Things that are
the things
true
that
and
you
real.
believe in. How important is it for you to believe in those
A 7.
things? How do you know that your belief is true?
Through experience and taking in frequency and energy from those beings and having a kind of a direct connection with them. And it's almost that ineffable thing that you can't really explain. It's more of a feeling than it is seeing and hearing. It's not quite the senses that we're used to. It's more of an intuitive gut feeling.
So it's an experience, it's a feeling, it's a gut feeling that you have. It's something that's difficult to show somebody, but something that you feel.
Correct.
Okay. If Timmy, let's say, Timmy's sitting next to you, and Timmy hasn't had that experience that you have. You've had this really strong connection with extraterrestrial beings and aliens, and he just hasn't had that experience. And I'm a third person. I'm sitting there and I'm watching you and Timmy talk.
Oh, sorry.
And I just want to know what's real and true, objectively true in the world. Hearing you and Timmy talk, how could I find out what's real, what's true?
Well, for me, it's not important that I impress that belief on anyone else. I think I'd rather present information that this is my experience and have other people just try to be open to it as opposed to just closed off. But if somebody's not open to it, I'm not going to force the issue. Does that make sense?
Sure. And I think we're saying everybody's entitled to their own beliefs.
Right.
And I think that's why I asked you on a scale from 1 to 7, how important is it for you to believe in true things? And you said a 7. And so if I want to know what's true, and I hear you and Timmy talk, how could I come to that conclusion? How could I find out what's true and real? Is there a way?
I'm not sure that there is because I think it's subjective. I think it's what's true for me is not necessarily what's true for you. Your experience here is different than mine. You're meant to have different experiences than I am and know different things. You may have come a long way in a certain path and I may be on a completely different path. So it is very important for me to feel and believe that the things that I think are true, but I understand that that's not the case for everyone.
Yeah, I think I see where you're coming. You're saying that you have your own personal truth and it's what's true for you. And Timmy might have his own personal truth. And so because of that, it might be hard for me to decide.
Right. I think we create our own reality in a lot of ways. So I wouldn't want to enforce mine on anyone else.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Do you see these boxes of larva snacks?
I do.
And you can have these after if you want.
Ooh.
So...
Is this a sales pitch for larva snacks?
It is. No, I'm kidding. I'm thinking that there is either an even or odd number of larva snacks in this box.
Sure.
I don't know what the truth is. I presume you don't know what the truth is. But could it be said that there is an objective truth that doesn't matter what we think about it?
Yes.
So there's an objective answer there.
There is.
How is your belief about extraterrestrial beings different from whether there's an even or odd number of larva snacks?
For me, it isn't. For me, it's objective, right? But again, I understand that something that is maybe paranormal or there's not a way to actually bring that to the forefront without a bunch of fear surrounding it, without...
So you say, for me, it's objective. If I say For me, it's objective that there is an odd number of larva snacks in here when there is an even number of larva snacks. Is what I'm saying, do you think, correct?
I would say it's correct.
So if there's an odd number of larva snacks, and I believe that there's an even number of larva snacks, then there really is an even number of larva snacks.
I mean, if you, there could be half in there. I guess I see what you're trying to almost debate, right?
No.
No?
I want to know how you, I'm really not in debate. I want to know how you know what you know.
Right.
And
So it's not a solid, there's not a solid thing I can hold in my hand about it, like you can with this box of larva snacks that I will decline.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, there's not a solid physical evidence of it. But I don't need physical evidence either of this other thing because of a direct experience of feeling.
Are you telling me that you have a strong belief in something which there is no evidence for?
I think the only evidence is on the inside, so it's difficult to share that with someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, there is, I guess, evidence that is coming to light, but physical evidence, but
Yeah.
it's more of an interior belief. That's what a belief is, right? There's a crack in the door. So if you believe something, it's not objectively true.
Right.
So there's a crack of light in the door, and there's a crack for that door to open wider so that you can
Yeah,
let other information come in, other truth.
sure. I'm not saying this is the case, but if your belief about extraterrestrial beings was not correct, if it was, it may very well be correct. If it was not correct, how would you go about finding that out?
Well, I think that's something that will unveil itself over time. And would be open to that. It's not something that my identity is tied to. It's not something that is going to crush me if it isn't true. It's just something that I currently think a lot about and have an experience with.
Yeah. So you have a strong belief, and it's a belief that's difficult to share how you know what you know with others. If I have a strong belief that there is an even number of larva snacks, when there is an odd number of larva snacks, and I say, I can't really explain how I know what I know, but I feel that it is true. Is there a way we could figure out what is actually objectively true?
Sure. You could open it and count.
Is there an objective test we can do with your belief?
No, there isn't. Like I said, it's interior. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like it's a strong belief you have, and you know it to be true, but it's difficult to explain someone to show evidence for how you know what you know. Generally speaking. Just generally speaking, is it useful, do you think, to have a belief, any belief, that can't be shown to be incorrect, if it's incorrect, not saying it's incorrect, but if it's incorrect? Because if a belief can't be shown to be incorrect, if it's incorrect, then how do we really know that it's true?
Well, I would say that it doesn't really matter because, one, I'm not trying to make anyone else believe it. And two, if it promotes a feeling of unity for me with other people, then I'm going to keep it.
So it's a good psychological reason for you to have the belief.
Right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I do try to ask good questions. Hopefully you saw them as good questions, but I try to make this friendly.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And I just want to know how people know what they know.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.